Hey everyone, this is Tiffany with Terrific Designs, and today I just wanted to share with you an event that we recently participated in called the North Texas Yarn Crawl. And I have watched my news feed on Facebook for several years now and have talked to my best friend, and I'm like, we need to do this. And so she actually talked me into doing it this year. Now, we didn't really get to go to a lot of stores, but we went through the list, and there's quite a few stores that participate. Stores, vendors, you know, different dyers from around the area. They all kind of get together and host this event. So we looked at, you know, the different vendors and, you know, dyers that were going to certain yarn shops. They were doing like special events, and that's kind of how we chose. Plus we live, you know, quite a ways apart, so we kind of picked locations that were a meet in the middle type situation. So we decided, with the limited time, and we were only able to catch it the last day of the event, that we were going to go to two yarn stores. So the first stop on our list was called On the Lamb Yarn Shop, and it's a cute little shop. They had like an amazing setup to where you could just kind of walk through their little areas. They had some freestanding displays, but it flowed very well. So we got to go look through the different brands and everything. I think they had 2 or 3 different vendors there as well. We did get to meet one of those vendors, and we got to see all of the yarn from all of them. So that was super fun, because a lot of this yarn I never get a chance to really see. So now I did have had an emergency, ended up having a $500 vet bill right before this event. So that kind of cut down on how much splurging I could do. So I meant to pick up a yarn crawl bag, because they do a special event tote bag that you can purchase, and I meant to pick one up. I didn't, forgot, and kicked myself later. But I reached out to On the Lamb, and I was able to order one from their website. So I wanted to show you this. I also mentioned that I had forgot to pick up or ask them if they had any more stitch markers, because part of the fun is that you get to collect stamps on this little postcard, and you can send that in for chances to win prizes. But each location does stitch markers, and I think they do stitch markers every year, but I could be wrong. But this shop owner saw my post and told me, before I even had mentioned purchasing a bag, which here's the tote bag. It's got a zipper and everything, so they're pretty nice. She told me that if I would give her my mailing address, she would mail me out some stitch markers, which I thought was super amazing. So I contacted her and asked if I could purchase a yarn crawl bag, and she said yes, absolutely, and gave me a link to her site. But in the bag she included some little magnets, which I thought was a nice touch, and a little pin on the lamb. And here are their stitch markers this year. I don't know if you can really see it, but it is On the Lamb 2023, so it's even dated for that memory. So I loved that extra touch. I definitely will be back. They had some awesome yarn. They had some that we didn't know what it was, because the label is in a completely different language. I don't know if it's Chinese, Japanese, I have no clue. But then I saw a post that talked about it being part silk. So I definitely want to go back and purchase some of that, you know, when I get a chance. Of course, you know, took a few pictures, oohed and awed. We also did meet a vendor there called Charming You, and she was super nice. We were talking about some of her skeins, and she came over and showed us like a little looked like a little baby blanket, where she had made different squares in some of her different yarn colors, and it was really pretty. It was amazing how it worked up and complemented each other. I thought it was an awesome touch for her to come over and show us this and kind of show us what the different skeins worked up as. So I thought that was awesome. Well, I say skeins, I should say hanks. But then after that, we went to another shop, which they have these cute little bags. It is called JuJu Knits, and I did pick up some yarn there. We were kind of on a time crunch at the first one and kind of rushed ourselves because we knew we wanted to make it to at least 2 that day. And this was in a completely different town, so you know, driving around Dallas, you're always worried about traffic. But so we kind of left there to give us a little time buffer to be able to browse and everything. But JuJu Knits, I ended up buying a couple skeins. I got this vintage DK, and so I got this color, and I also got this one. And I kind of feel like my friend and I, these are kind of, you know, our colors. It kind of reminds me of both of us. So I'm hoping that I can find some inspiration to make me something so that it will help me remember, you know, our time there together. But they have we did remember stitch markers there, and they gave us this little stitch marker at JuJu's. And they told us why this stitch marker. When they first set up their business, they didn't actually have a storefront. They had a little camper trailer, which is adorable. I even found a picture of their little trailer. I want to say the name was Pearl, but I could be completely wrong there. But it was super cute, and I love the personal touch that they did and the history that they shared. They were so nice. So we walked in, washed our hands, and kind of looked around and everything. But we spent quite a bit of time in there. And we did meet another vendor in there as well from Arkansas Yarn Co., which she stopped and talked with us as well. We actually saw a couple of her previous subscription boxes, because she does subscription boxes, and she puts them together where they have like a little theme. So like one of them, I don't know if it was around Valentine's Day or something, but it had like little conversation hearts and little heart stitch markers, and you know, just kind of a whole theme that they went with. So I thought that was super cute. But my friend and I have already decided that that's part of our bucket list. We are going to sign up for her subscription box. It may be a 2024 thing that we do together, but we're always looking for things to make those memories, especially since we're not always, you know, able to meet up and go have coffee or something. It's a pretty big ordeal for us to try to get our, you know, schedules to align and you know, work and home life to align and everything for us to meet. So we really want to do that. But I thought it was pretty cool that even though she wasn't a storefront, and I don't know if all vendors kind of did something like this, or the majority of them did, but she gave us this little stitch marker, which I thought was awesome, which they're from Arkansas. It's got the little blingy state of Arkansas on it, so I thought that was cool. But she is super friendly. Her subscription box schemes, because she's doing a set herself, is going to be made up in a bigger project. I can't remember if she's doing a blanket or what she's doing. I really want to say she was doing a blanket, but I could be off. But she said, so all of them that you'll get during that time period are going to really flow together and complement one another. So I did tell her, I said, you know, one of the hesitations I always have about yarn boxes or subscription boxes is that I don't know if, you know, I don't know what to make with them. You know, what do you make with one skein of yarn? So, so I thought that was pretty cool that she went into detail about what she's doing with hers. So I thought that was a super nice touch. But everyone was so friendly, so upbeat. There was no pressure to buy anything. They just let you browse if you wanted to. Both shops had completed items. So even if you don't crochet or knit, there were several items in there, which I don't knit at this point. It's a bucket list thing. I don't knit yet, but there were so many pretty things at both of these stores that I just wanted to buy up. But I definitely will be back to both of them to go shop. So I just wanted to tell you guys, you know, I just happened to stumble across the North Texas Yarn Crawl information a while back and was like, did you know that this even happens? So I don't know that even people in our area know about the yarn crawls, and I know that they happen all over. So if you're interested in attending one, they're super fun. I was a little worried because, you know, I'm typically on a budget a lot of times, and was really worried I wasn't going to enjoy it. But even though, you know, I had the vet experience that took my money, I really had a blast. So I definitely will want to go back next year. And I'm also wanting to do the event in September where they're having a Fiber Fest in Texas. So super excited about that. I'm definitely attending that one as well. I'm already, you know, stashing away a little money so I can splurge on some purchases. Geektastic Fibers, I think is what their name is, but they're going to be there, and they do some unique package items. It's more of a book box, so they give you a book and a skein of yarn, and I'm not sure what else is in there, but I really want to try out theirs as well. And I know from looking at some videos from last year's, they had some of those sets there with them, so I'm hoping that they have some of those at their booth this year, that I can snag one possibly. I don't know what other vendors are going to be there. I hope, you know, maybe some of the vendors from the North Texas Yarn Crawl will be there so that I can kind of check them out. But I'm just so excited. I'm counting down to September. So this was really fun, and you know, like I said, we will definitely be back. My friend and I were both really impressed with everyone we came into contact with, and the stores, the selection, all of it. So I hope you look them up. I'll try to post links in the description. Please, if you like this video, like, subscribe so that you'll get notifications, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Thank you.